The form of all three of these plants is a basal rosette, but are they all related? Let's take the plant in the top right corner first. This plant is a member of the Bromeliaceae, or bromeliad family. You may know bromeliads from pineapples, or as tropical epiphytes that grow in the canopy of trees in the rainforest. Or you may know bromeliads from air plants, which people grow in their house with no soil. Air plants, or tillandsias, have specialized trichomes on their leaves that absorb water. There are over 600 species of tillandsia. But bromeliads are also native to more arid regions. In drier places, the trichomes of these bromeliads reflect light to keep them cool. The flowers of many terrestrial bromeliads are pollinated by birds, and are monocarpic, meaning they flower once and then die. Before they flower, though, they usually produce asexual clones called pups. Most bromeliads are native to the New World. Now let's take the smallest plant out of the three, the aloe. Aloes are members of the Asphodelaceae. You may recognize aloe from using aloe vera to soothe burns. Aloes are native to the Old World and are particularly diverse in Africa and the Middle East. They are also commonly pollinated by birds. There are hundreds of species of aloes, and they range from low-growing basal rosettes to high-growing tree aloes in the genus Aloedendron. Aloes flower multiple times throughout their life. Last, we have the agave, or in this case, a mangave, which is an intergeneric hybrid between an agave and a manfredia. Agaves are members of the Asparagaceae, or asparagus family. You may recognize agaves from the cliffs of Isla Vista. Some agaves produce giant inflorescences that can produce asexual clones called bulbils after the inflorescence is done flowering. They are commonly pollinated by bats, and like bromeliads, are monocarpic. Gymnosperms are an ancient group of plants that originated in the late Carboniferous period and flourished during the Permian and Mesozoic. Today, they make up less than 1% of plants on Earth. There are four major groups of gymnosperms: cycads, ginkgos, neophytes, and conifers. The division Neophyta has some unusual members, like Welwitschia mirabilis. Welwitchias are native to Namibia, and after their cotyledons, only produce 2 leaves their entire life. They push the leaves out of a woody trunk called a caudex. Here we can see the male cones, and these are the baby plants that still have their cotyledons. And these are the female cones, which we pollinated almost a year ago. We brushed the pollen on a micropylar drop using a paintbrush. Another family in the Neophyta is Ephedraceae, which contains only one genus, Ephedra. These plants are found in more arid regions and have extremely reduced leaves. They instead photosynthesize with their stems. These plants produce fleshy female cones. Another gymnosperm group is the cycads, found throughout subtropical and tropical regions of the world. Like all gymnosperms, they are heterosporous, so they have 2 types of cones. Male cones, pictured here, which are typically skinny and smaller, and female cones, which are larger. This plant, Dioune transvenosus, was pollinated this year, as you can see by the tags sticking out of the cones. Some cycads have specialized roots called coloroid roots, which associate with nitrogen-fixing cyanobacteria. Another gymnosperm is Ginkgo biloba, which is the only species in its genus, family, order, class, and division. Ginkgo trees are often called living fossils because they have barely changed since the Jurassic period. They were only known through fossils until 1956, when a small population was discovered in southeast China. The trees that were discovered are believed to have been cultivated for centuries. You may have never seen a female ginkgo tree because the outer layer of the seeds, called a sarcotesta, is so foul-smelling that they are hardly ever grown. Their seeds are said to smell like rancid butter. The last group of gymnosperms are the conifers, which can often be recognized by their classic Christmas tree triangle shape. Some of the world's oldest and largest trees are conifers, like redwoods and giant sequoias. The Araucariaceae is a family of conifers that used to be distributed throughout the world, but are now largely restricted to the southern hemisphere. The plant pictured here is Araucaria bidwillii, which is native to Australia, and has giant female cones and small male cones. The seeds of Araucaria bidwillii are eaten by the Aboriginal people and are said to taste like chestnuts. Another species of Araucaria, Araucaria heterophylla, is native to Norfolk Island and is commonly grown as a potted Christmas tree. Flowering plants, or angiosperms, appear in the Jurassic period and replaced conifers as the dominant trees around 100 to 60 million years ago. The oldest diverging group of angiosperms are the basal angiosperms. The plant pictured here is Austrabalia scandens, which is native to the rainforests of northern Australia. The floral morphology of Austrabalia is characteristic of early angiosperms because of its unfused carpels and lack of a distinction between sepals and petals. The flowers smell awful and are pollinated by flies. Another basal angiosperm is the water lily, which, like many basal angiosperms, has radial symmetry. A more common early angiosperm is the magnolia tree. Magnolias exhibit many traits that are common for early angiosperms, like their unfused floral organs that are arranged in a spiral and their many floral parts. This cone-like structure is composed of many spirally arranged carpels. Magnolias are commonly pollinated by beetles, which are some of the first pollinators. This plant is another member of an early angiosperm family, the Piperaceae. This is a type of peperomia. And so is this. This is a succulent peperomia. This is Piper elongatum, which is related to Piper nigrum, which makes pepper. Each yellow spike inflorescence contains hundreds of seeds. Some characteristics of advanced angiosperms include united or fused floral organs, and also having bilateral symmetry or zygomorphic symmetry is characteristic of advanced angiosperms. They also can have inflorescences, which are clusters of flowers, like this disc inflorescence of this Asteraceae or sunflower family member. Having an inferior ovary, where the floral whorls are above the ovules, is indicative of advanced angiosperms. A genus of advanced angiosperms is Ficus, which is the fig family, and the Moraceae. There are over 850 species of fig. The one pictured here, Ficus bengaliensis, has adventitious roots. The roots touch down to the ground and allow the tree canopy to expand. In India, where many ficus species grow, they are considered sacred and are called banyan trees. The canopies of some banyan trees can shade entire villages because their aerial roots support the tree. Figs are also special because they have complex relationships with their pollinators, which are called fig wasps. For the many species of fig, there are individual species of wasp that bore into the fig and pollinate the flowers. The fig is actually a peduncle, or inflorescent stalk, that is wrapped around the flowers. Figs are either monoecious, having separate male and female flowers, or gynodioecious, having hermaphroditic and female flowers.